and welcome to Your Stocks in the Mumbai News Studio. I'm Ekta Batra. Well, it's turning out to be a session where we did see some amount of volatility come through in today's trading session. So remember that at one point in time we were inching towards 25,000, but now we're at around 24,820 odd. We did see a dip during noon, where after that it seems as though the markets have not really recovered from that sudden dip that we did see for the markets. But nonetheless, the mid-cap index is still holding up quite well. We have the mid-cap index up around 1% at this point, and the advance decline ratio favoring the advances. Let's welcome Astha Jain, research analyst at HEM Securities, to answer all of your fundamental queries. We'll have Ruchit Jain with us soon as well. Astha, welcome to the show. Well, it's been a choppy day, a lot of stocks in focus. So let's get in a quick question first. We have V. Vaithalingam, who writes to us from Tamil Nadu, holds around 100 shares of Deepak Fertilizers, which is bought at around 100 odd rupees. He wants to know what to do, whether to hold or sell at current levels. So over to you on this one. He's sitting on a good profit at this point in time. What would you recommend on Deepak Fertilizers?
So as he's sitting on the good profit, so my recommendation would be to partially book the profit and partially keep the holding, because what we are expecting that going forward, we really need to see the results, especially the bottom line growth in the quarters coming, because we are a bit skeptical about the bottom line growth, the way the company will be able to maintain the margins or not. So, and how the monsoon will pan out, because as we can see, although monsoon is pacing up, but still we really need to see how these criteria can be taken care by the company going ahead in the financial performance. So overall, book partial profit and remain invested in the partial holding is recommendation from our side.
Okay, all right. Well, we do have the Indian Bank numbers on your screen, where there's been an improvement in terms of the gross NPAs, so 3.77 versus 3.95% on a Q-on-Q basis. Net NPAs have improved as well. As you can see, the stock is up around 2% at this point. Do you look at this stock, Astha?
So yes, we do track Indian Bank, but first of all, I would really like to see the deposit growth, because that is the major factor which we are right now seeing in all the banks, as we have seen in the past also, like some of the quarterly updates which have given from the PSU banks like BOB, the deposit growth was soft. So we really need to see how the deposit growths are going out for this bank, especially their asset quality seems to be fine, but all eyes are on the deposit growth. Meanwhile, prima facie, the numbers are looking good.
Okay, all right. The numbers looking good. NII is up around 8.3% to 6,178 odd crores. So there's been a growth year on year in terms of the NII. Profit should come up for you. Gross NPA looks like there's been a marginal improvement taking place. Well, Shrisas Daga, writes to us from Mumbai, holds 1,200 shares of Varun Beverages, which is bought at a level of around 265. Long-term investor wants to know what to do, whether to hold or to sell at current levels. Again, sitting on a good profit on that one as well. What would you recommend on this one? Varun Beverages, 1,691 odd rupees in terms of a current market price. What is your view on this stock?
Basically, we are waiting for the results, which are scheduled on 30th of this month only. So hardly a day left. So I think it's better to wait for the results, although what we believe the company will going to post strong performance, because the distribution actually has grown up strongly. This is what we believe. And in fact, now their international operations are also gaining momentum, as we have seen, like Zambia, like Zimbabwe. So now they are expanding their operations there also. So we really need to see how the company will be performing in the financial results. Meanwhile, we are expecting strong numbers from this counter. So recommending a hold only for a day or two till the results come. And our price target for the same is 1,710 at the initial level. And if everything goes well in the result, then 1,750 can also be set as the another price target for this counter. So hold is recommended from our side.
Okay, all right, fair enough. A hold is recommended on Varun Beverages. We have the Strides Pharma numbers, which are looking good. Net profit is coming at around 70 odd crores versus a loss of 7 crores year on year. Welcome back. Well, for the markets, there is some pressure on specific stocks. So Titan is down around 2.6% at this point. Bharti Airtel is under pressure as well and Tata Consumer along with Cipla and ITC. So there's a medley of stocks which are under pressure. Do watch out for Divi's because it comes out with its numbers this Saturday and has been gaining ahead of that. So it's picked up around 6-7% in this month itself in terms of market capitalization, and for the year it's up around 25%. But let's get in some queries now and let's get in some opinion. Ruchit Jain is with us along with Astha Jain to answer all of your queries. Ruchit, didn't get a chance to ask you on the technicals for today. It's been a dip, but the dip hasn't really been bought into for the Nifty. What would you suggest?
Yes, hi, very good afternoon, Ekta. Well, there's no doubt about the broader trend. That the broader trend for the market still remains positive, especially if you look at the F&O numbers from the start of this series. FIs have been on the positive, have been trading with a positive bias since last 1.5 months. And where just before the expiry, the positions were a bit overbought with long-short ratio around 88 to 82%. Post the expiry, that ratio came down to around 57%. This has created a room for fresh long formations that have been seen in the derivative segment by FIs, and still there are no signs of any kind of divergence from the mid cap or the small cap fronts. Yes, markets have seen a sharp run up in last 3 or 4 trading sessions, and hence there could be some in between declines, but no signs of reversals, and hence it continues to remain a buy and dip market.
Okay, remains a buy and dip market. Okay, well, let's get in a query now. We have Kurian who writes to us from Kerala, who holds 500 shares of Indian Hotels, which is purchased at 430 odd rupees. So he's sitting on a profit there, good profit, and wants to know the prospects of this particular investment. So he's bought, his buy price is 430, currently trading at around 646. Ruchit, let's toss it over to you first.
So I think whenever we are witnessing any kind of dip in last 1.5 years, we are witnessing good buying interest when the stock comes around 100 DM. Recently, also the stock corrected in the month of July, but that 100 DM acted as the support and the stock has resumed its uptrend. It has potential to rally towards 700 to 720 in the bit medium term. So I would advise to continue to hold on for potential targets around 700, and near-term support for the stock is now placed around 580, which is quite above the buying price. So the risk-reward ratio is favorable to continue to hold on the long positions.
Okay, all right. And what about you, Astha, on Indian Hotels? Astha? Okay, we'll try and get Astha back to talk to us about Indian Hotels. But let's get in Gurmeet, who writes to us from Chandigarh, holds 500 shares of NBCC, which he's bought at 34, wants to know what to do. Stay invested or sell it. Well, sitting on a profit on this one as well, and in fact a good entry price for NBCC, 34 odd rupees, currently sitting at around 186. Ruchit, what would your recommendation be on this?
I think the entry is in a margin of safe holder in case some corrective phases also. The trend still remains positive, no signs of reversal, and since he has kept a good patience, and so I would recommend to continue to hold on and keep a revised stop loss method. Now the major support for the stock is around 150. So we can keep a stop loss below 150 for now and continue to hold on. And as the stock prices move higher, we can revise the stop loss on the higher side. So it's better to continue to ride this trend. I think many congratulations for such good profits. And I think yes, if he has kept so much patience, then it's wise to continue to holding this. It's wise to continue to hold these positions for a bit longer period of time.
Okay, all right. So you'd recommend holding it for a longer period of time. Well, we'll try and connect with Astha again, but as of now, we need to take a short break. On the other side, we have more queries lined up. And we take this break with the news that the Bank Nifty is just about holding with a gain of around 90 odd points at this point. Mid-cap index up around 1 odd %, so outperforming. Advanced decline ratio has still been in positive terrain, so that's the big positive which is coming through. Take a break and be back. Welcome back. Well, you're still tuned into your stocks. We have with us Astha Jain and Ruchit Jain to answer all of your queries. Now we have Saurabh, who writes to us from Ahmedabad. He holds 3,000 shares of Nykaa at 185. He wants to know whether to switch to some other stock or probably stay invested at this point in time. So he's bought Nykaa at 185 and just about sitting flat on his gains, flat on his investment. Well, Astha, what would you recommend on this?
So we are positive on the future outlook of Nykaa, and that's why we are recommending hold with the initial price target of somewhere at around 200 to 205 odd levels. Talking about this counter, what we believe that their BPC and fashion segments are doing well. In fact, they have now done the partnership with various well-renowned brands, so that will also help the company, and they have the plans to open more and more new stores. So we are positive on this counter only from the long-term perspective, and hence recommending hold. I think there is no need to take out the profits from it. Keep hold this counter with a price target of 200 to 205 at the initial levels.
Okay, 200 to 205 at the initial levels. The stock is up around 13-14% in the past 6 months. What is your recommendation, Ruchit, on the technicals of Nykaa?
Well, I have a similar recommendation to continue holding the stock because, post listing, we did see some price-wise corrective phase. But I think if you look at last 3 or 4 months, the stock price has now entered some consolidation phase, which seems to be more of a time-wise correction. So I think price-wise downside seems to be limited as, the stock is going through a time-wise corrective phase. And once we see a breakout above 190, 195, technically, the stock could head higher towards towards 230 to 240 in medium term. So I think if we can keep some patience, then continue to hold on. Possible targets technically seems to be around 230 to 240.
Okay, all right. 230 to 240 is what you're recommending on the technicals. So positive view coming in on Nykaa, both on the technicals and fundamentals. Shank Mukherjee writes to us from Kolkata, holds 84 shares of Bank of Baroda, which is bought at 256 odd, and wants to know what to do, whether he should hold or sell this particular counter. Sitting on a loss at this point, but not much, just about flat. Well, we've been discussing a lot about the banks this time. So, Astha, I'm going to toss it over to you. A lot of banks in focus on account of numbers as well today. But BOB?
So it is a long-term holding from our side. Long-term recommendation holding. Why? Because first of all, results are set to get released on 31st of this month. So hardly 1 or 2 days left. So better to wait. And we believe that maybe the results might not be that strong, because what we have seen from the quarterly update is their loan growth was soft at around 8%. And in fact, deposit growth was also not very encouraging. So maybe some muted numbers can be expected from this counter. But in the long term, we believe that this counter will definitely fetch the good returns. And hence we are positive on this counter only from the long-term perspective. Remain invested in the counter. In the long term, 290 can be set as a price target. Maybe time period can range from 3 to 6 months.
Okay, all right. Well, Astha as well as Ruchit, we're going to let you go on that note. It's been a pleasure listening to your views. Thanks very much for joining in. That's all the time that we have on the show. But do remember to email us your questions. We'll address them with our experts. Closing bell up next.